yes, it has.
Okay, I just started recording and, okay, I guess I couldn't get my TV to take the graphic full on. Hey, son, did you not figure it out? How to do that full time? Okay. Okay, put it this way. Okay, Elizalde, what was your reaction to the school board's decision last night, first of all?
Well, so let me clarify, Jenny, this was not a school board action yet. This was a decision that I made really after hearing the updates from Dr. Walks, and of course, having thought through this decision over many, many days, the last couple of weeks. So there was not a board vote. A board vote on a resolution will be coming forth on Thursday, this coming Thursday. I believe that'll be August the 12th.
Okay. What was decided then last night?
What was decided last night was that as the superintendent of the school district and responsible for the day-to-day operations, that I will be requiring masks effective tomorrow, Wednesday, August the 11th, for anyone, students, staff, visitors on all district property.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that clarification. And so a vote will be on Thursday. You essentially then introduced the resolution, and I guess the board, when they agree, I guess they agreed to it then? Was it like a preliminary, just kind of, that's great?
Yes, so it's really important to differentiate between governance and the leadership or the management of public ISDs such as ours. And so while there was certainly discussion with regard to what are all the safety protocols we're doing and what are all of the safety protocols available to us, our discussion that was held in executive session revolved around the legal implications. And so there was no vote taken. Only in open session can votes be taken, of course. And so the resolution is intended to ratify and support the superintendent's decision with regard to requiring the masks. And it allows our board members the opportunity to really study the resolution and to decide how they choose to vote come Thursday night in open session.
What led you to that resolution, Dr. Elizalde? We saw it on national TV. You were very passionate about it.
Well, I think it is because as a superintendent, there is a lot of weight on my shoulders, and I'm sure as such for other superintendents, but I never want to speak for other superintendents. And when you see the science, when you see the data, and then you apply that to your local context, Austin is my community now. And so when I see and I hear that there are no more ICU beds, and I haven't put students into classrooms yet, Jenny, and I'm going to put students in classrooms with teachers, with staff members, and we know that masking is one of the most effective COVID protocols other than vaccination, and I'm not able to do that, really required me to ask myself, why are you the superintendent? Why did you choose to be a superintendent? Why did you choose to be a teacher? And this is supposed to be because I take care of, as a teacher, it's always about taking care of our students and our colleagues. And so again, generally, I'm one of those rule followers. This was not something I took lightly. It was never intended to be a defiance of the governor's order. It really is a conflict for me. And yet at the same time, I have to tell you, it's not a conflict, because when I compare the consequences of not making masks required and what that might do and how I might contribute to someone's death, I'm willing to take the other consequences that come with not being in compliance with this order. When I hear someone say, but only a few children have died in the United States because of COVID, you know, as a parent myself and you as a parent yourself, what does that mean to us as a parent? Statistics may be statistics on a paper, but as a parent, it doesn't matter how many children. If it's my child, how in the world do I have a conversation to try to justify that I did not take every single precaution that I could because the statistics said the chances were slim? When I weigh those options, I end up feeling like I made the right option.
And so when you weighed the pros and cons, obviously going against the governor's order was a con. What are you expecting from him as a result? Because AISD is not the only school district, right? El Paso, there was a school district in El Paso last night, did the same thing. And of course, Dallas. What are you expecting?
I really don't want to think or project for our governor. I have great respect for the position. I can only imagine what that kind of stress of that position is like. What I do know is what I'm held accountable for, and knowing what some of those consequences could be and yet not projecting them, I'm prepared for those consequences. I hope that instead we will be able to work with the governor's office to ensure that we be allowed to make decisions in the local context of an independent school district. I believe very strongly there's a reason why I work for an elected board of trustees, and at the same time why I am not an elected official. I'm not an elected official so that I can make decisions that don't require me to worry about whether I'm going to be reelected or not. And at the same time, we have an elected board of trustees because they're to represent the local community and their desires. And so I ask as respectfully as I can for the consideration of local school districts being able to make decisions that are best for those local communities.
If and when this mask mandate gets voted and approved, how far are you willing to back it up? And what I'm getting at is, are you willing to take the legal avenue if Governor Abbott responds?
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves and we don't want to get ahead of the law. So what we are prepared to do is that during stage 5 as a minimum in Austin and Travis County, we're going to follow Austin Public's health lead in keeping with CDC and the AAP guidelines. Beyond that, we ultimately want to get to a point that we don't need to require the masks. But in order for us to get there, we actually have to do and take all of the precautions that are at our disposal with the goal of reaching what I do think there is unanimous opinion on. I think everyone wants children back in schools. I think everyone wants them without masks. This isn't about what we want to do. It's about what we need to do. We put a seatbelt on our children when they get in the car. When my child was small, I put him in a car seat. He didn't want to be in the car seat, but I did that because I needed him to be safe. I'm asking everyone to think about safety of their children and of the children around them.
Dr. Elizalde, how are you making sure your staff knows and how to make sure the younger kids knows how to wear a mask properly? I have an 11-year-old and we were just in Mexico and it was every 2 minutes, put it above your nose, because wearing a mask doesn't matter if you can't wear it properly. How have you instructed your staff to make sure that the kids know how to wear their mask properly?
Well, I think that's one of the areas where our teachers play such an important role, because ultimately it's about the relationship that is formed between our teachers and our students. And our teachers have been the best guide educating our children on both why and how to wear the mask. Keep in mind, it may seem like long ago, Jenny, but we required masks all last school year. And in fact, we think there is evidence that demonstrates that that did provide some mitigation to the spread. And so when you think about towards the end of the school year, and we had almost 65% of our students at our elementary campuses and did not have any outbreaks, and masks were required. So we are going to go back to reminding everyone the first few days of school why it's important to wear the mask and how to wear those masks in the way that is safe for everyone. And then we want to work towards ensuring that we also understand that it is about our attitude towards the masks. And one of our teachers has a great bulletin board with Spider-Man and Wonder Woman and other heroes. And the bulletin board says, all heroes wear masks. And then she has pictures of her students wearing their mask. I still think it is a small thing for us to do that can bring us great results.
Are you prepared for the critics, though, parents who don't want their kids to wear masks? What do you have to say to those parents?
I want to say to them that we want to have conversations with them. We want to see if there are some nuances or things that we need to understand about their decision regarding their disagreement with our expectation that everyone wear masks. I think every single one of those may be a different and unique situation. And I don't think it's appropriate to simply say, this is the way we're going to handle all of them. And in fact, I hope that that's what makes Austin ISD unique, is that we are individually centered and that we recognize we're all unique. And so we will be working with our staff today and throughout the rest of the week prior to school starting to create some scenarios and to role play what communication can sound like. Our goal here is to find a way to unite us if at all possible. We might disagree, and we're going to work towards not being disrespectful and working to try to honor what the intent of our parents may be should they disagree with our decision.
And I'm assuming ISD will provide masks if kids lose their mask or, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have plenty of masks on hand. If a student forgets it, or loses it, we will be providing those as needed. Absolutely.
And Dr. Elizalde, do you know how long you will be requiring masks? Will it match APH's stages, stage 5? As long as we're in stage 5, we'll be required to wear masks.
I feel comfortable right now telling you, Jenny, that we will be maintaining this throughout stage 5. As I review APH's recommendations, and if you look at it, we really, according to their particular staging, we should be utilizing masks from stage 3, 4, and 5. However, again, local context, I think, matters. So what I'm committed to right now is to say this is not permanent. This is about stage 5. And then we will reevaluate in visiting with Dr. Walks and APH, and we will revisit as we get to stage 4, hopefully very soon, and we can reevaluate whether we need to continue requiring masks.
And finally, I know we're running out of time. Just one final question. How do you hope this mask requirement will affect staffing and enrollment, since a lot of people were afraid to come back to school?
Such a great question. As of this morning, probably 2 hours ago, we had approximately 350 of our parents who had enrolled their children K-6 in our virtual platform and have enrolled them back into face-to-face time. So that's also a positive. We've also received emails from parents who have indicated they will now re-enroll their children, period. They weren't enrolled at all. And I'm going to balance it out, Jenny, and also tell you that I have also received a handful of emails that are not in agreement and have indicated they will be unenrolling their children in our schools. I understand as a parent myself, we must make decisions that we think are best for our children. And what I'm asking our parents to do is to recognize that in a sense, I have to do that very same thing. I have to do what is best for our entire district.
would you say the phone calls, emails, correspondence of parents who are re-enrolling their children far outweigh those who are unenrolling their children?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay, okay, very good. I don't have anything else, Dr. Elizada. I appreciate your time. Was there anything else I didn't touch on that I need to convey to viewers?
Oh, I think you did a great job. I think that last question in particular, I wasn't even thinking when you asked me. They had just, I'm like, how many of our kids that were in virtual are now enrolling at the campus? And that was about 2 hours ago. And they told me 350 had moved out of virtual back into face-to-face because they felt comfortable now that masks were going to be required.
Yeah, I just know so many parents and teachers who, yeah, that will greatly affect their decision. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Elizada.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.